All right, let's look at the homework 3.7, problem number 3. All right, in this video, I'm going to focus on finding the first derivative and finding the second derivative. All right, so let's do that. All right, so this is just going to be a quotient rule, right? So I'm going to actually, let's write down the quotient rule. All right, so it goes something like this, right? So y prime is equal to, and the quotient, so you're going to have a quotient there. First, you're going to have denominator squared, right? And then f times, actually f prime, well, actually f prime times g, right? And then minus f times g prime, right? So this is actually, I messed that up right here. All right, so we got that. All right, so this is a quotient rule, right? All right, so here, the top guy is f, right? The bottom guy is g, right? So I'm going to do the bottom first. So g is the denominator squared. So I'm going to replace this g by quantity x squared minus 16. All right, so we got that. All right, then we have f prime, which is the derivative of the numerator. So it's going to be derivative of x squared is 2x, and derivative of 3 is 0. So f prime is simply 2x. All right, so I just replaced that, right? All right, g is just the denominator, so I'm going to copy the denominator, which is x squared minus 16, right? So I replace the g by x squared minus 16, right? So f is the numerator, so I'm going to replace f by x squared plus 3. So we got that, right? And then last one is g prime, which is the derivative of the denominator, which is going to be 2x again, all right? So you have 2x. All right, so we're done taking a derivative. After that, we just need to simplify a little bit, right? So here, the denominator looks good. So I'm going to just go ahead and copy that, and then I'm going to just put it in here, right? So we're going to have that. And the numerator, right? So I'm going to, let's see, I don't like having that all that stuff in there, so I'm going to just to get rid of that first. All right. So you see that there's a 2x here, and there's 2x there. So those are common factors. So I'm going to take 2x out, right? So put it in front, right? So I took care of 2x here and 2x there, right? So that's that, right? Then you just have to pick out the leftover terms, right? So you're going to get here. All right, left over from the first term is x squared minus 16. So we put x squared minus 16. All right, then we're going to have left over from the second term is negative x squared minus 3. So I'm going to put negative x squared minus 3. So we get that. All right, but we can simplify. We can do a little bit better job, right? Because here, we have here, you have x squared minus x squared. So they cancel out. So I'm going to go ahead and erase it. So usually I would scratch it out, but since I'm doing it on a computer, I'm going to just go ahead and erase it. So it looks nice and clean, right? And also, we have negative 16 minus 3. We can go ahead and combine them, right? So we're going to have negative 19, right? So we got that. All right, then we have a negative 19 times 2, so we can still combine that too. So that'll be negative 38, right? So I'm going to put the negative 38 in front of x, right? By combining 2 and negative 19, right? So you get that, right? So this is the first derivative, right? And then we're going to take one more derivative. So let's find the second derivative, right? So let's see. So we're going to do the same quotient rule, right? So, but let's see. So we're going to have y double prime, right? That's what you're trying to find, right? Right. So I'm going to do a quotient rule, right? So first thing is you're going to square, actually, first thing is I'm going to pull out negative 38, kind of a yucky number, in front. So I'm going to just put negative 38 in front. All right, so we have that. Then maybe I'll make a bracket or something. So I'm going to have a bracket in front and then bracket at the end. All right, maybe curly bracket might be good. All right. All right, so we have negative 38 is already taken care of. So I'm going to actually write it this way. So negative 38 is, right, so negative 38 is already pulled out, right? So we focus on taking a derivative of this part right here, right? So let's use the quotient rule, right? Square the bottom, all right? We can do that. So it's going to be x squared minus 16. It was squared to begin with. If you square that to the fourth power, so we're going to get that. All right, then take the derivative of the top. Derivative of x is 1, so you get 1, all right? And times the denominator, so I'm just going to copy the denominator, which is x squared minus 16 squared, all right? So we got that. All right, then minus, right? Top is x. All right, so we get that. All right, then we have to take the derivative of the denominator. So which is going to be, we put the 2 in front and keep x squared minus 16 as it is, and just subtract 1 from the power. So you get this. Right, but then you have to do a chain rule, multiply by the derivative of inside. Derivative of x squared minus 16 is 2x. So we're going to have to put 2x there. Right, so we have that. All right, now we need to, we probably use a square bracket instead of a curly bracket. Maybe I'll do that, and maybe it looks a little bit better. All right, so I'm going to put the square bracket there. All right, oop, actually I messed that up. All right, so how about this? Yep, I fixed it. All right, so we have that. All right, let's clean it up a little bit. All right, so you have multiply by 1. Really doesn't do anything, so I'm going to go ahead and erase it because it's gonna be kind of confusing. All right, so we got rid of that. All right, then I'm going to go ahead and let's see. So you have there's a 2 here, there's a 2 here, so that gives you 4. So instead of having 2 and 2, I'm just going to go ahead and put 4 there, right? So we got that. And then also there's an x there, so that's just x squared. So I'm going to just put x squared instead of just the x separately, right? So I'm going to put the x squared, and so it's going to look like this, right? So all I did was clean up a little bit here, right? So we got that. All right, then as usual, we're going to try to find a common factor. All right, so first we're going to put the negative 38 outside, and then we have a big fraction with the denominator is exactly the same as before. So I'm going to just put x squared minus 16 to the fourth power. Excuse me. So I put the 2 instead of 4. All right, to the fourth power. So that's just that. All right. Then I'm going to simplify the top part. All right, so you see that there's a common factor, x squared minus 16. So I'm going to pull that out. So I'm going to write x squared minus 16 once here, right? Because that's a common factor. All right, so I factor those out. All right, and what's left is, since one of these guys are factored out, so leftover term from the first term would be x squared minus 16 again, right? All right, from the second term, since this is already factored out here, so negative 4x squared is the only leftover term. So you have a negative 4x squared, right? Then you get that. Right, then again, you see that here you have x squared and a negative 4x squared. They're x squared terms, so I can combine as a negative 3x squared. So I'm going to put negative 3x squared by combining x squared and the negative 4x squared. All right, so we have that. And the next step is, let's see, here. One more thing we can do. We can actually, there's a common factor on top and the bottom, right? So we can cancel one of them, and you have 4 of them, so I'm going to reduce it to 3, right? So I'm going to cancel this guy, and then reduce it to the 3rd power. All right, so we got that. And I thought that was going to be done, but I would like to do one more thing. There are way too many negative signs, right? So I'm going to distribute this negative sign to turn it into positive here, turn that into positive. So you're going to have a 38 outside, and then I'm going to put the positive sign in front of 3x squared and a positive in front of 16. So you get that. All right, so this is the second derivative of this function, and it's simplified as much as we could. All right, that's it. I hope that this was helpful.